Before watching this video on the parable of the Good Samaritan, it would be a good idea to read the parable as Jesus tells it in Luke chapter 10. I'd like to suggest that you pause the video for a couple of minutes and read Luke 10, verses 25 to 37. Welcome back. There are three things to look for in the parables of Jesus. People, the way of salvation, and what does this have to do with me? Let's start with the people in this parable. Here they are, and here's what Jesus tells us about them. A certain man, he sets out on a journey from Jerusalem down to Jericho. Thieves or robbers attack. They rob and beat the man and leave him to die. A certain priest comes by, sees the half-dead man and does nothing. Then a Levite comes by, looks at him and does nothing. Finally, a certain Samaritan comes. He has compassion, goes to him, gives him first aid, brings him to the hospital, so to speak, personally doctors him, and assumes the full cost of caring for him. And then there's the innkeeper, tasked with continued care for the man on the promise of being fully repaid when the Samaritan comes again. There's a lot to learn about the way of salvation in this parable. Like the robbed and beaten man who is left to die on the road down to Jericho, everyone is hurt by sin and dying. We are all sin-beaten on the road that goes down to death. Pro forma religion, represented by the priest and Levite, does nothing to save fallen man. We need Jesus. He is our ultimate Good Samaritan. He rescues us in our fallen state. He provides for our continued care, and He's coming back to make the final settlement for our salvation. In the meantime, faith does what Jesus commands, believing that He will come again and make good on everything that He has promised to us. This is the lesson of the innkeeper. Mercy saves people. We come to self-reflection. What does this have to do with me? Am I the beaten, dying man? Am I part of the world that beats the dying man? Do I conveniently turn a blind eye to my fellow man who needs salvation? For me, the answers are yes, yes, and all too often yes. You have to answer the questions for yourself. Am I willing to change wherever I can? Certainly, Jesus challenges us to do better in this parable. What can I do to be like the Good Samaritan, which means being merciful like Jesus and letting it cost me something? Can I be an innkeeper who Jesus can trust to care for others until He comes again? Jesus leaves us with a Samaritan challenge. So which of these three do you think was neighbor to him who fell among the thieves? And he said, He who showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said to him, Go and do likewise.